The Backyard Deer Hunter speaks at POMA. William Hovey Smith, 2017. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting and the owner of a new company, Hovey's Knives of China. And I was among the few old fossil heads who was interviewed at the POMA conference in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Perfect. Hovey, what brings you to POMA?
This is the official logo of POMA, Professional Outdoor Media Association.
Well, I come to POMA for the interchange with the folks. As outdoor riders, we live rather insular lives, and certainly I do. My wife is long dead, and so I'm by myself. And this enables me to interchange with fellow colleagues, work on joint projects, promote my products, my knives, my books, etc., and generally have a good time and a new look at what's going on in this changing outdoor field. God knows, it is changing every day.
Certainly the hardware is. Here I am shooting a Yank Pepperbox revolver made by Pieta.
Why would someone who's young or getting started in the industry, why would you recommend POMA?
Well, POMA is an excellent organization. For one thing, many of us older riders who have been in the game for 20, maybe 50 years even, we actively mentor younger riders. Right now I'm working with 2 riders.
Here's one of my guys, Jason Beck, with his first bowfish kill, an invasive pink flatfish, and John LaCroix's first paid published article.
None of which lives in my immediate vicinity. One of them in Illinois, and the other up in Copper Hill, Tennessee. But doing this enables me to bring riders along and ultimately, when they have sufficient credits, introduce them to POMA, the wider circle of the outdoor world, and what people do. Because obviously, outdoor riders usually start writing rather small pieces. And then they progress to magazines and perhaps some decades later to books. And I want to speed up the process. Because if you start off in a traditional way, by the time you make your reputation of any sort, you're too old to do anything, guys. You're in the same shape I am. So if I can give you a head start, I'm with it. And so that's why new riders should become involved with POMA, find POMA members, get some sort of mentorship going, and get brought up through this system, because it can really work.
What got a guy from Georgia interested in making Chinese-style knives?
With Hovey's Knives of China, I was always interested as a young guy in high school with coinage. And one of the most peculiar pieces of coinage in the entire world was the knife money of China.
The items on the left are actually money that was minted in China, along with the typical Chinese cash coins.
And these were actually little stylized knives. So I had occasion to go to China, and even before then had looked at some of these original pieces. And so I decided to remake them in modern steels for professional cooks and chefs. And since I cook, I actually work with the knives. I don't have pretty knives to sell or display or fancy knives. I actually use them. So I'm able to develop the designs. I have my forge right at my house. So we have an R&D facility. It's not unusual for me to shoot an animal in my backyard, as I did about 6 days ago. String it up, butcher it with my own knives.
This is a Florida hog that I'm halfway through skinning.
And cook it.
Here I am with typical cooking outfit in my home kitchen preparing food with my own knives.
And this way you find out how knives really work and how to make them better for everybody.
Perfect. What's the future of Hovey knives? What do you? Because I've seen some interesting stuff on the internet. I know you have a couple dreams. Tell me a little bit about what the future of Hovey's knives are.
Well, as a practicality of business methods, now this is pretty hard hardcore. But take account of your resources. I'm a retired guy. I have limited income. I can't start a factory. Don't want to. Don't want to be bothered. But I can start a small R&D facility.
This is me in my shop putting a new grip on a friend's knife.
Where me and a knife maker can perfect designs. And the ultimate aim of this is to make a few custom knives alone. But the real money maker will be actually selling and licensing the designs to worldwide producers.
Here I am showing my knives on my town square.
So 20 years from now, you're going to be seeing my knives all over Walmart.
These are a few of our Hovey's Knives of China knives.
Some of them are going to be ripped off in China, but others will be made or licensed from my organization. So this way I can keep my costs small, my development costs small, and my potential return large without having to invest in a whole factory and manage it with people, etc., etc., etc.
I gotta ask, Hovey, I know I mentioned now almost for 2.5 years. What keeps you going? Because you're beating some of these young guys out with energy. You beat us by about 2 hours this morning, I think. So what keeps you going?
Well, when you're 75 like I am, you have seen many people die. Life is short. If I'm going to get something done, guys, I don't have time to waste.
All right.
One of the things that I really enjoy doing about Hovey's knives is I also work a lot with muzzle-loading guns.
Okay.
Is take these muzzle loaders and kill something unusual with an unusual gun. I don't care what it is.
Here is a double-barrel pistol that I use to take wild hogs. A turkey shot with a 16-gauge Brunswick smoothbore. A swan taken with an 1842 British musket. A buffalo taken with a flintlock 75 caliber smoothbore. And a gator and squirrels taken with a muzzle-loading revolver.
And take it home and kill it and cook it and eat it and prepare it with my knives. So in an ideal situation, I may have a hog grown on my own place, shot with a bullet cast in my backyard, dressed on my pole in my backyard, put in my freezer, packaged by me, prepared by me, and ate by me. Now that is taking the locavore thing to its logical conclusion, and that's exactly what I do. I buy almost no commercial meat, and well, with all apologies to beef growers, eat almost no beef at all. I've got hogs and deer and swan and ducks and geese. And
this is a plate of wild hog liver and mashed potatoes with a nice glass of wine.
No, so I buy almost no meat at all.
Perfect. I do have to ask one more question because it brought me up. When I took this job 2 years ago, I was introduced to you, and I want to hear this story, as Hovey Smith Blunderbuss. So your Blunderbuss is famous, and tell me how I think you built it, and tell me what inspired you to build it.
Well, now we get down to the nitty-gritty. Blunderbusses are small, short, self-defense firearms. They're particularly noted for having a bell-shaped muzzle that shrinks down to a smaller diameter barrel.
Here is one of the earlier configurations of young Blunderbuss. It's still sort of taped together. I'm still working on it.
And late in the history of blunderbusses, in the 1790s, they were actually used as weapons of warfare, primarily in the naval units. You had one blast with your blunderbuss, and then you used the thing as a club. They didn't have ramrods on the naval blunderbusses. They weren't meant to be reloaded. I mean, if you were on a ship's deck, the people were just like this, and everybody was coming at you from all different directions with knives and axes and anything else that would cut and kill. So you didn't have time to reload. So with this blunderbuss I've got was a kit. And so I built the kit.
This is the comb of the stock that I raised by adding a piece of persimmon wood.
It was available for a time from Sportsman's Guide. And how do you sight in a blunderbuss? When the muzzle goes like that. Well, it gets to be a little difficult, as you might imagine. But with some work and building up the comb on the stock, I actually got it where I could get it to shoot to the point of aim with shot, and also 54 caliber round ball. So Blunderbuss and I went on adventures, and we went up to North Carolina, and we took a swan with that blunderbuss.
This is young Blunderbuss with a North Carolina swan.
The equivalent of a 20 gauge cylinder bore gun is what it actually amounted to. And I also took it on to New York State as a backup gun on a bear hunt. I wasn't successful in getting a bear, I just couldn't stay long enough. But ultimately, I did get a finish off a deer. I had killed a nice, beautiful 10-pointed Georgia deer, largest I've ever taken at home, and finished it off with a blunderbuss. And it did just exactly what it was supposed to. It drove that 54 caliber ball all the way from sternum through the backbone.
This is young Blunderbuss, an Alonzo Selden rifle that took this Georgia deer.
So at close range, even with a round ball, yeah. And incidentally, it doesn't have your rear sights on it either. So it takes real skill to learn to use these primitive weapons. Sights make it easier, much easier. But to really hunt with a gun without sights, with a 2-inch bell on the end of the barrel, now that was a challenge, but I did it.
This is young Blunderbuss's most satisfying take. He got this wild turkey with one shot, hit it from beak to feet, and killed it very dead and Among my prize-winning books are Extreme Muzzleloading, Backyard Deer Hunting, Practical Bow Fishing, and Crossbow Hunting. So I cover a variety of interesting materials. I also have a series of books that are dedicated to muzzleloading. These include Shooting and Maintaining Your Muzzleloader, Hunting with Muzzleloading Shotguns, and Smooth. You know, I have lived and am living an interesting, fun life, and I continue to do so. For more information on my books, blogs, and over 625 videos, you can go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.